Hey guys, so today I'm going to be working on my R6. It's exhibiting a couple problems that I fixed off camera just because I didn't really need to record them because they weren't really complex. I just had some stuff down here come unplugged. Previous owner had put some aftermarket connectors in here because he was having issues. There was some issue at one point, but he fixed them. And I don't know what the problem is now, but like I turned the right turn signal on. You can see behavior's normal. It has my flush mount turn signal there. And then a cool little turn signal here. However, you can see all I did was push it over once to the right. When I press in the middle again to cancel, that cancels, but then I go left, it doesn't stay going. But like when I push this, I feel a clunk. And when I push this, it's not a clunk. But if I hold it, it works. And I know they come back to the same flasher relay, or at least the turn signal relay is the same relay. So I know likely the problem's here. And the way I describe this is it only works when held. When you let go, it stops. Unlike this one where you turn right and then it stays going right. So today I'm going to dive in. I believe that it's going to be related to this handle. And if it does fix it, this video will probably get public. And I'll be able to maybe help at least one guy out there. So I believe there's a couple Phillips beneath this thing. Got my little stubby, so when I have to take that panel off, I'm gonna go zip and see what's going on underneath here. All right, I got this thing put back together, and I'll be honest, I didn't think it was gonna be the problem just from the symptoms it was exhibiting. I put it back together, and sure enough, now when I go left and let go, it works. So I wasn't expecting this, but funny enough, I do have this R6 and then another R6 that I'm gonna show you guys how to do it on. So this order might actually work if you're trying to troubleshoot, but yeah, you can see now when you go one direction, it goes and flashes, middle click cancel, or go one direction, back click, switch over and cancel. Yeah, so everything's working exactly as it should with LED and LED. So I'm surprised. 2005 R6, I don't know exactly what's up, but I did know they shared the same turn signal relay, so it kind of pointed to this. So I'll quit talking and start showing you guys how I did it. All right, so I think all we need is a Phillips, and I used a stubby one on my one with the cowlings or fairings or whatever, with the piece right here. But on this one, you probably don't need to use it. So I'm going to just take this guy off. I'm kind of going back and forth just to make sure it's happy. These are relatively loose. Okay, I'm gonna pop the little clamshell and then wiggle it off of the indexing nub and then drop it down. I'll give you guys a view so you can see if it's grimy, if it's tough, this is what it'll look like, and that all makes sense because you can see, if you saw in that first clip, that's actually a sheet metal plate, and in here it does not look the case. So get a little organized here, and I'll do the exact same thing I just did on my other one, which is take it apart and put it back together after cleaning it. So I pop off. Ooh, I gotta make sure I'm not blocking the view for you guys. Pop off this screw right here, and then starting here. Take all of this, and don't forget the little brass bushing underneath. And take this plate off as well. It's actually rather difficult to find magnetic things around here. All right, take this guy off too. This guy holds also the wire harness routing bracket.
is the other bracket in the middle. And then this whole assembly, if we can just grab it, I like freeing it up a little, just making sure it's moving. And just grab it and pull it right out. Now that we're in this position, do this with your hands. Try not to use a tool, because I'd be very scared to break this. I just use my fingernail, push in on this little insert here. I'll need to reposition because this is not a good angle for me. There we go. I got my finger in there. Just use this just as a gentle pry. And now there we go. You can see on there, you can see the poles it's getting and the contactor there. So on mine, I think it was a hair dirty and affecting the resistance values, or screwing it up in some other way that can't be explained, but was fixed by this. So the rest of the work will be done on what I'm removing, but this will just get cleaned up as well before reinstalling. All right, we're over here at this little bucket I have, and this will work pretty well. So I started with, on the other one, I started with this guy, and I just kind of stripped it all the way down, took all this stuff off. I'll just throw it in the liquid PV blaster, just sitting around. Make sure you guys can see. It's kind of some PV hanging around in here. And then I just clean all this off so you can see the massive amounts of gunk on here. I ran out of brake clean, so I'm using PV blaster. That's not to spite PV blaster. It's just usually the brake clean's a very aggressive chemical that would be kind of good at getting grease out of here. Might be too much for that plastic though, so maybe it's a good thing. I don't like these Harbor Freight rags too much, but you just can't beat the price. It's probably good enough. Set that off to the side. Let's bring over the next most important thing, which I guess is not that, but this guy. So this guy's got a couple different things happening here. We got a detint on the poles, and then this guy in here. This is actually a ball bearing rather than a detint like on an AR safety or an AR like fire selector rotating thing. It's just a ball bearing and a spring, which I don't know about that. So first thing we're gonna do is do the same thing, just clean all this. I think we got it to a good spot. The wear surfaces seem fine. All right, so this guy's good. I just wanted to make sure the hole here for the spring and the detent's fine, and then the surface it slides on here is fine. The rest was just cleaning it so it looks better. Getting over to this guy with this spring-loaded plate here, the poles. Just make sure that doesn't fall off. Actually, you know what? I didn't do this on mine, but I'm gonna see if I can take this apart, because I guess not even pressure, or at least this could cause an intermittent issue if this didn't apply correct pressure. Yeah, I definitely would suggest working on this. That was really stuck in there. So I'm gonna clean that out as well. Wow, that spring just sits there, huh? Okie dokie. Nice. Put that off to the side as well, because I want to be able to bring them all back and grease them all and then put them all at the same time, so I can just deal with the grease in one moment. All right, we got the contactors. I'll make sure to keep that there. Springs fine. You guys couldn't see what I was doing. Okay, spring's there, that's there. This spring. This ball bearing on my R6 was comedically like destroyed. Like it was like dented and chipped. That's good. Okay. Brass. This guy's dirty as well. I'm sure this is really interesting. Okay. Nice and shiny. All right, we'll keep those together. Okay. I'm gonna go get some grease and we'll resume. Okay, so let's start getting this thing put together. I'm gonna try my best to remember. Okay, I'm gonna get a little dollop of marine grease here. Probably wanna use maybe a little different one, but you'll have it. That's what I got. Maybe a little too much there. At a minimum, I'm just gonna provide some grease here. All right, we got our contacts, which probably shouldn't have greased. So I'll wipe this off when we go to do it, but we have pretty good spring pressure coming out of this now. Before it was kind of crammed and stuck in. As long as it stays straight, we're good. All right, put that guy there. We got them. Next is this. This good old Harbor Freight rags are leaving too much hair. Okay, there we go. Spring, which will come out the back. See there. And then ball bearing. There we go. And this guy, I guess we can leave the back of it. Oh, sorry. We can leave the back of this. So this goes just like that in there. And we'll clean that face off. And it's not going to sit right because the ball bearing is in the back. So I guess we can go back over to the machine, get that mounted up. All right, so I got the stuff from the bench over there, and I got some more grease because we're gonna need to grease some stuff on install. And don't forget to clean these contacts before reinstalling everything, or else probably it won't work, or it won't be that beneficial other than feel, because this is the only electrical part. All right. There's even some rust in there, wow. Okay. So we'll take our plastic assembly here, and then we have to re-clip this contacts in here. I'm gonna do one final anti-grease pass. All right, we're good. Click. That looks pretty good. We can hold it like that. Make sure that spring's not poking too far out. Pull this guy forward, and it should drop right back in. Keyword is should. All right, back. So next thing is putting that middle bracket on. This middle bracket, which goes this way. Kind of holds it there. It's actually kind of hard to hold a screwdriver so you guys can see. Okay. I'm putting this bracket back in. That holds the wires in the corner there. And also, I guess it touches the bar as well. Making sure everything's going to be happy and not forced when I tighten this guy down. All right. Perfect. Okay. So the next thing I did was put more grease here, just because that little brass insert's down there. And I grabbed the brass insert, and I can just put it right here, facing the right direction, hopefully. There we go. And then get our little bracket here. Hold it in that hand. Make sure it's adequate. I imagine the more grease you add, the more dust it could collect. Because from my experience, grease should only be added to sealed areas, sealed bearings and such. But I guess we'll consider this sealed. I won't tell anybody if you guys won't. And then drop it into the detent while allowing the brass bushing to go into place, just like that. And we got enough grease down to where we should be fine. So I'm grabbing the washer and screw. I'm going to put the sharp side outward because I forget exactly how it went, but I believe, yeah, the sharp side should usually always be out in circumstances like this. And then we're gonna just go for it. Just like that. And sure enough, we got it. Oh yeah, that feels not like gravel, so it's better than previous. All right, let's do some testing. So on this bike, the lights are all kind of screwed up, so we'll see. Okay. Okay, interesting. Okay, yeah, okay, so we have restored function. A bunch of stuff is unhooked, so it's not really happy, but yeah, it's actually performs a lot better than it did previous. And this is exactly what I did on mine to fix it. So I hope this at least helped. I'll finish it out here, but in doing so, I'll be just talking. I hope this at least helped you guys, because for me, I was a little stumped because in the manual, it was basically talking about if the lights were not functional or flashing or not flashing. They didn't really say anything about kind of a weird mid state where the system would actually only function if you held it a certain direction. So I hope this at least helped one of you guys, and if it did, I'm glad it did.